My name is Frankie Welch, and I'm a comic.
Jubilee, you all right? Here, let me help you out.
Hey, something happened to Harris.
Oh, he's lying all of a sudden.
He just killed somebody.
Folks, don't panic. Be calm, please. Everyone, be calm.
I ain't done nothing, I swear!
That how come you got Mr. Harris' blood all over your gloves? Benny, call the police.
That crud abandoned me 3 months after our wedding in Reno, Mr. Petrocelli. This is all he left me. And that's not even real gold.
It sure isn't.
He didn't even have the decency to leave me a couple of nickels for the slot machines. It was a good thing I saw his obituary notice in the newspaper. Maybe now I can get what's coming to me, huh?
Well, Mrs. Jablonski, you know, your husband left $5,000.
He was a strange man, Mr. Petrocelli. During our whole marriage, I only got to see him on the weekends.
You mean he never saw you during the week?
He was away. He said he was a traveling salesman and he needed to service his accounts during the week.
According to this, Andrew Jablonski worked as a druggist at Discount City on 8th Street for the last 10 years.
Yeah? Oh, well, he's dead now. It doesn't really make any difference, does it? When can I get my check?
Oh, your check. Your check. Well, as a matter of fact, you'll get the money in 2 to 3 weeks. All the papers are in order. Look, actually, I really have an appointment across town. I've got to be there in 20 minutes. So I'll send in all the forms, and then you just wait until you hear from me, okay?
Where'd you say your appointment was, honey?
At the Clover House on 5th.
That's just terrific. It's right near the motel where I'm staying. You think you could, give me a lift? Hi there.
Hi there.
Got yourself a good-looking secretary, huh, Mr. Petrocelli?
Well, no, actually,
That's wife, Mrs. Jablonski.
Well, let's go, honey. I don't want you to be late for your appointment.
It's okay with you, baby, isn't it?
Oh, well, sure, honey. I wouldn't want to keep your appointment waiting.
I love you when you're jealous.
Get out of here.
By the way, she's right. You do make a great-looking secretary.
Hi, Mr. Petrocelli.
Hi, Willie. Here, give me something of that, will you? Yeah, how's the book going?
I never thought that robbing a bank for fun and pleasure would get so close to the bestseller list.
Well, that's terrific, Willie.
You know, in fact, it's doing so good that my publisher's been after me to do some personal appearances, signing copies in the bookstores and stuff.
Now, Willie, you got to be on the outside for that, huh?
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Do you think you could get me a 10-day pass or something?
Hey, Willie, I'm a lawyer, not a miracle worker. Now, you should have thought of that before you robbed that bank. Hold it.
Hey, Tony. Talk to you later. Can I see you a minute?
Hey, Mo, how you doing?
Fine, fine. Look, there's a lady over there. Husband's in a lot of trouble.
Is he a friend of yours?
Well, met him for the first time last night, but he's kind of an idol of mine, Tony. Name's Jubilee Jones. One of the greatest vaudeville performers there ever was. Tony, look, they don't have anything and no one here. You think you could take a minute to talk to her?
Sure, I'll be glad to, Mo.
This is Bessie Jones. This is Tony Petrocelli.
How do you do?
It's my pleasure, Mary.
Tony's an attorney. Can't get any better than him. Well, Tony, I gotta get back to my telephone before Chief gets in my tail.
Okay, baby.
All right.
Well, Mrs. Jones, how can I help you?
Well, it's my husband that needs your help. He got arrested last night. They saying he killed the manager of the nightclub where he was performing. But Jubilee ain't that kind, Mr. Petrocelli. He's got too much heart for that. He don't hold with killing anything.
Well, do you allow me, okay? Do you know what happened?
Well, only what they told me.
Have you talked to Jubilee yet?
No.
Well, I could arrange for you to see him if you'd like.
Well, there's no rush about that. Jubilee has his pride. And I think I'd rather wait till he misses me more than he's embarrassed to see me.
You don't live here, do you?
No, we live on the road. Been that way for more years than my memory wants to let me remember.
Just you and Jubilee?
That's right. We decided that living out of suitcases was no way to raise children. So we never had none. And I ain't regretted it, not one day. You see, when I met Jubilee, I knew he was my life. Still is.
He must be quite a man.
Oh, more than that. He was on top once. And you know, he never treated nobody different when he was a star. He loves people. Loves to have them round. Only now I know that being in that jail cell will kill him.
Well, look, I'm gonna go to talk to him, and I'll see what I can do. Now, is there somewhere that I can reach you?
Oh, here. I'm gonna wait.
Mrs. Jones, this may take a very long time.
After spending 42 years of my life with that man, the waiting can't be that long.
Well, with whatever else, he must be a very lucky man.
He needs more than luck now. He needs help.
I will do everything I can to help him, Mrs. Jones. I promise you that. Jones? Tony Petrocelli.
What are you, a lawyer?
Yeah. I'm also a friend of Mo's. He asked me to help.
I think maybe he made a mistake.
But why is that? Are you guilty?
No, I ain't guilty, but I ain't got no money to pay you, and besides, you too fancy for me.
I'm glad you like one of my 3 suits. Right now, let's not worry about money, huh? Why don't you just tell me exactly what happened to you?
I'd like to ask you something.
Go right ahead. What is it?
You doing this for Mo?
Yeah, I'm doing it for him. And I'm also doing it for a lady I just met who loves you very, very much.
She's really something, ain't she?
Yeah. Yeah, she really is. Hey, look, right now we gotta stop thinking about you, huh? I want to know exactly how you ended up in here.
Mr. Petrocelli, I ain't never hurt nobody my whole life.
Look, Mr. Jones, the police say you did last night. Now, I've got to know everything, and you've got to tell me everything.
Okay. I'll tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Ain't that the way it goes?
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
That night I was singing and whooping just like always. Then I did my specialty number, you know, my sand dance. Then I went off. And man, the customers applauded like crazy. Gave me a standing ovation. Really made me feel good inside. Then I went off stage.
Ooh, nobody like you, Jubilee. You are terrific.
Oh, thank you, Shirley. Backstage, everything was really nice. Shirley Peters, one of the showgirls, came up and complimented me. Made me feel real good.
Do you ever think about the past when you're out there, Jubilee?
Oh, ain't got time, Miss Sims. And this girl reporter, Sandra Sims, was doing the interview on me.
I really want to thank you for all the time you spent with me this past few nights.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. And if you need anything else, just give me a call.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Then I went back to see Harris. Guess I can't blame him for thinking I did it. Especially after the fight I had with Harris.
Well, when was that?
Before my first show.
What was it about?
Son, he was a bloodsucker. Gave me my paycheck for the week and took 10% off the top.
What for?
Miscellaneous. So that's the way he runs his business.
So you got mad at him?
Sure, I got mad. Called him what it was right to his face. And he actually admitted that not only me was he ripping off, but all the kids in the show, too.
So, of course, you threatened him?
Worse than that, he insulted me right in front of everybody. Said I was an old man. An old man. Son, I ain't no old man. I'm just a young man trapped in an old man's body, that's all.
Then you went at him, huh?
Didn't I? They had to pull me off of that clown. Then he told me I was fired after my last performance of the night. Told me to come back and pick up my final check. That's why I went back there.
Jubilee? I'm gonna do everything I can for you.
I really appreciate it, son. But there's one more thing that I'm wondering about, though.
No, what's that?
You still just doing this for Mo and Bessie?
No. Not after I've talked to you. Mm-mm.
Tony? Hi.
Yeah, baby. What are you doing here?
Oh, well, I thought we might have a nice, quiet lunch together.
Nice, quiet. Well, I got something much better in mind. Something that'll make your body feel great all over.
Oh? What?
Hey, Tony. Maggie?
Hi.
So what do you got, huh?
Harris used to be in vaudeville. He and his family did a balancing act.
What happened with the act? Did it fold?
Yeah, and he's been managing nightclubs ever since, here and there.
Uh-huh. Did you find out anything about the night of the murder, Pete?
According to witnesses, Harris tied in with a lot of people that night. Frankie Welsh, Shirley Peters, Jubilee, couple of stagehands, and I'm checking them all out.
Okay, good, Pete. Check out one more thing for me, will you? Find out who owns the Starlight Club, huh? And I need that information fast.
You got it.
Hope you don't expect to make a living doing that.
Oh, well, they say but James always go for guys like his feet, eh?
Yes. And I suppose that makes you a real Casanova, yes.
Hey, well, that makes me a lawyer. Frankie Welsh, right? Sure, I saw your picture outside. I'm Tony Petrocelli. I'm defending Jubilee Jones.
Oh, it's a great pleasure, Mr. Petrocelli. What can I do to help?
Well,
Stand over here with you.
Yeah. I'd like you to tell me that the Jubilee didn't kill Ed Harris.
Well, I'd like to, but I just don't know. I was out here on stage when it happened.
Yeah, well, I understand that Harris wasn't exactly Prince Charming.
Oh, hardly. As a matter of fact, a half an hour before the whole incident took place, I had a fight with him myself.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, well, it was no secret. Harris shoved me out of his office. Everybody was standing there saw it, even Jubilee. You know, I really feel sorry for him.
Yeah, well, he's in a lot of trouble. Look, we want to tell me what you and Harris are arguing about?
It's personal.
Either you tell me now or I'll have to ask you in court.
Okay. I was into him for quite a bit of money. Advances against my salary, you know.
And what for?
Well, I play the horses a little. And I've got an ex and 2 kids to support.
I can understand that. In other words, you had to keep working to pay off your debts, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. He needed a comic for his club. And, you know, the funny part of it was that the guy really thought I was good. But he kept on pressing me.
I don't understand. I mean, there was no point.
Oh, he had a point, all right. And he kept sticking it in and twisting it every chance he got. Control over my life.
You know, that'd be one hell of a motive if you weren't on stage that night.
Yeah. But I didn't kill him, Mr. Petrocelli. And if it wasn't Jubilee, I hope you find out who did. For Jubilee's sake.
Yeah, I'll find out. Okay, thanks for your time, Frankie, huh?
Oh, and thanks for your time.
Right. Yeah. Is that better? I'm really a dancer.
Yeah, I noticed.
I wouldn't think a dancer like you would need this, Miss Peters. This'll do wonders for the old keister, honey. Ooh. What was it you wanted to talk to me about?
Wanted to know if you had seen the fight between Jubilee Jones and Ed Harris.
Oh, yeah, sure did. Old Jubilee had Harris right by the throat. A couple of guys had to pull him off. You know, I don't think he would have strangled Harris, but he sure came awful close. I never saw Jubilee so mad before.
You liked him.
Yeah, I sure do. It's a crying shame he's locked up. You know, I know 50 people that would have given their eye teeth to bump off Harris.
50?
Well, maybe not 50, but there were quite a few, including me. No secret. I had it out with Harris on the day he was killed myself, just like Jubilee. Everybody outside the office must have heard us. We were sure shouting enough.
What were you quarreling about?
About billing, you know, some dumb thing. I wanted my name bigger on the marquee. A lot of the other girls on the show had it in for Harris, too. See, he liked to try out the merchandise before he'd give you a job, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Have you talked to Frank Welch yet? You know, he had a real wing-dinger with Harris about 10 o'clock that night.
My husband's talking to him now.
Oh. Oh. Boy, this thing sure tightens up all the right spots, doesn't it? I gotta go. Bye.
You feeling all right, Jubilee?
Sure. Come on, sit down, honey.
You never could lie to me.
Never wanted to, Bessie.
That Mr. Petrocelli is a good lawyer. You got to believe in him.
I do, honey.
But you're worried.
I'm not worried. I'm just anxious.
Jubilee, for 42 years, You've been trying to carry all the worry by yourself. This time, you got to share it with me. I love you.
I know. You're quite a woman, Bessie. Sometimes I think maybe more than I deserve. I know it ain't been an easy life for you, honey.
Can't separate me from you. Jubilee, sometimes I get to thinking you don't know all what's in my heart. I chose you. I chose to be with you for my life. It ain't never mattered to me whether we had all the fancy things. You know, people succeeding in their careers don't mean they've succeeded at being human beings. You have. You are fine, decent human being, and that's all that really matters. We're gonna get out of this. We got too many good years ahead of us.
I didn't kill that man.
I never thought you did.
I love you, Bessie.
Hey, Pete, what do you got?
Two things.
Yeah?
First, Harris was shaving the profits from the club. There's a big, fat bank account in Mexico City in his name.
Second thing?
The club was owned by Phil Kingsley.
Kingsley Corporation. That's big business.
Yeah, I know. He checks out legit. I mean, on the surface, but he runs with a kind of funny crowd.
Okay, well, keep digging, Pete. Look, I want to find out why a small-time operation like the Starlight Club would interest Phil Kingsley, huh?
You bet.
Okay.
Would you take a look at that?
Well, at least he does some things better than the way he plays tennis. Pete, I'll see you later, huh?
You bet.
Okay. Well, Frank, what do you think the voters would say if they saw the DA carrying on like that in public, huh?
Well, man does not live by bread alone.
Nor by prosecuting old men who didn't commit murder.
Come on, Tony. I don't like it any more than you do. And we're prepared to offer a deal in the Jones case. We realize he's an old man. We don't want to send him up for life. Why don't you ask him to cop a plea? That way it'll be a reduced sentence.
You gotta be kidding. I mean, even if Jubilee has a lesser sentence, I mean, that'll be 10 to 15 years. I mean, it's all the time he's got left, Frank.
I'm sorry, that's the best we can do. You know, of course, about the fight he had with Harris.
Yeah, Harris was skimming off the top, and Jubilee found out about it, and Harris fired him. Still doesn't add up to murder, does it?
So you add in the murder weapon. The bookend with Harris's blood on it.
There were none of Jubilee's fingerprints on it, Frank.
Ah, you see, but he was wearing gloves. It was part of his costume. We believe he went back to Harris's office after finishing his act, continued the argument, lost his temper, and then killed Harris. Now, we have witnesses that saw him go in and then come out with blood on his gloves. Nobody else went in or out.
You're wrong, Frank. He's innocent.
Innocent people don't run the way he did.
He was scared. Besides, Jubilee Jones is not the kind of man who's going to assault someone with a deadly weapon.
You mean you don't know?
Know what?
He has a prior conviction in Toledo for assaulting a club manager with a deadly weapon.
You can't use a prior in court, Frank.
I know that, but these things have a way of slipping out sometimes. Tony, be smart. Settle it before the trial.
I've settled it. There's no way you're going to convince me that he did it. don't you tell me you were convicted of hitting a man with a lethal weapon? Hmm?
It never crossed my mind.
It never crossed your mind, huh? Well, it crossed the DA's mind. Okay, this is it. Now, I want you to tell me everything from now on. Starting with what happened to that manager in Toledo.
It ain't like it sounds, Mr. Petrocelli.
What's it like?
I was walking past the man's office and heard a scream, and went in there, and this guy was trying to rape this new showgirl. She was a sweet little young thing. Didn't know the ropes. He was gonna give her a quick education.
So what happened?
I pulled him off of her and smacked the cat right in the face. But he didn't even move. Man, he was a gorilla. And he started at me, and I did what I had to do to protect myself, so I picked up something and hit him and knocked him cold.
The police report didn't say anything about an attempted rape.
I know it didn't, because at the trial, she testified against me. I don't know. I guess maybe he promised a star billing or something. I can't say I blame the girl either, because this is a tough business.
Okay, Julie. Now, is there anything you haven't told me that I ought to know?
Nothing more, and I want to thank you for ringing so Bessie could come in and see me.
Hey, I know how much she cares about you. And what you two people mean to each other. Hey, you're very, very special people.
I really want to thank you, Mr. Petrocelli. But I want to ask you something.
Sure.
What are you thinking?
About what?
Well, a minute ago, you was really charging, and I thought maybe you'd stop believing in me.
No. Look, Jubilee, that's my way. I mean, I've got to find out what we're up against. That's just my way of getting at the truth. Hey, I believe in you, man. And we're gonna lick this thing together. Oh, hey. That's quite a system. How do you like that? Not bad, huh? Well.
Tony! Hey, Pete, here you go. I got something interesting.
Yeah, sure.
Shirley Peters dancing.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Maggie spoke to her. She said she was having some kind of hassle with Harris over billing.
Well, there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah? Like what?
Well, it seems that she recruited all the showgirls. She was after Harris for a bigger cut of the money that he was making him kick back.
That's interesting. What about this guy, Welch?
His story checks out as far as I can see.
Anything on Kingsley?
He's interesting. He didn't care what Harris did with the club. Apparently, he was using the club for something else.
Like what, Pete?
They were putting a lot of girls under contract, and they were listing them as performers.
Performers? What you're trying to tell me is they were hookers.
Yeah, Kingsley's own. High price, too.
No wonder he had such an interest in that club, huh? Look, Pete, I want you to do me a favor. Check out Shirley Peters before she came to San Remo, huh? I think I'll go over to speak to Kingsley myself.
Tony, you just be careful. Behind that sweet daddy image, that's one rough customer.
Kingsley, I appreciate you taking the time to see me.
Quite all right. What was it you wanted to see me about?
Oh, I just wanted a few answers.
I look at my grandchildren. They're all so full of life. And I say to myself, thank God they're all healthy. And they also like my hamburgers.
No, you're a lucky man.
Yep, yes I am. But you didn't come out here to talk about my grandchildren.
No, as a matter of fact, I didn't. If you recall, I told you on the phone that I'm representing Jubilee Jones. I'd like to know about the ownership of the Starlight Club.
Well, my corporation owns a lot of businesses. That's why it's a corporation.
Oh, I see. And do all of your businesses use high-priced girls to help you live like this?
Chow time, kids. Burgers are on the table. Let's take a little walk. Maybe you didn't understand what I was trying to tell you there, Mr. Petrocelli. But this is my home, and those are my grandchildren. And you have a nerve trying to bring up some dirty business here in front of them.
First of all, my name is Petrocelli. And secondly, you're a hard man to reach at your office, Mr. Kingsley.
Apparently with good reason.
I have a client sitting in jail accused of a murder he didn't commit.
Then talk to me about Ed Harris's murder, which is why you said you wanted to see me in the first place. My ownership of the Starlight Club has nothing to do with that.
Maybe. Maybe it has everything to do with it.
We have nothing further to talk about. You can show yourself out. I take it I won't be seeing you again.
No, you might, Mr. Kingsley. Because I'm going to put you on the stand. You're going to have to answer some questions. At least you won't have to worry about your grandchildren being around, though. I'll see ya.
If I worried about it, I wouldn't go up there.
So the way you deal with danger is by shutting it out of your mind?
No, ma'am, I just don't worry about it. Hey, look, I gotta go home. Thanks, huh?
Hi, do you have some time for a few questions?
I was just going to ask you the same thing.
What?
Name's Tony Petrocelli. I'm defending Jubilee Jones. Your office said that I could find you out here.
Oh, sure. Sandra Sims.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi.
I wanted to ask you some questions about the other night.
Sure. Would you mind walking me to my car? It's right over there.
Not at all.
Okay. What can I tell you?
Well, you were backstage the night of the murder. Did you see or hear anything unusual?
I wish I could say I did.
Mm-hmm. What about your tapes?
Just interviews with backstage people, mostly Jubilee.
Mm-hmm. Did you see or hear any of the other arguments with Eddie Harris?
Which ones? I think he was fighting with everybody that night.
Well, Shirley Peters in particular, or Frankie Welsh?
No, I was busy with Jubilee at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I heard the shouting, but I didn't hear what was being said.
Did you use your recorder?
Yes.
Is there any chance that you could have picked up the arguments on the tape?
Maybe. They might all be on those tapes.
Well, that's great. Look, is there a chance I could borrow them from you?
Sure. Well, I don't have them with me today, but I could drop them by your office in the morning.
That'd be great. Thanks very much, and I appreciate that.
Okay. I'll see you tomorrow.
You do.
know something, Sandra? I can remember my first job.
Well, what did you do?
I don't understand. You can hardly hear what they're saying. It sounds so muddled.
Well, that's no problem. I can clean that up.
I got my first job working for $2 a week.
What did you do?
My brother and me played a little banjo and did a little dance, as I recall.
That's fantastic. You mean just by plugging in a few of those things, you can block out everything else, huh?
Almost completely.
Can you do the same thing so we can hear the arguments in the background?
Sure.
Did a little song and dance, as I recall. You know something, Sandra? I can remember my
Second-rate money spender and a first-class loser. Listen, baby, I'd love to give you more, but we just ain't pulling the crowd.
Listen to that, baby. Isn't that something?
I know what's going down. I know all about you and...
Now, you shut your mouth. Start making trouble for me and you'll be collecting disability.
Well, one word for me and you won't be here. If Kingsley knows what's happening here, you're...
That's what you...
That's one tough lady.
Go ahead.
Please, give me a break. Frankie, you're a second-rate comedian and a second-rate money spender and a first-class loser. Now get out of here. I don't want to see you back in here again.
What's that?
That's nothing.
What do you mean, nothing?
It means no one's talking.
I told you to get out. I don't have time for all your belly aching.
Right, Ed. Talk to you later, when you're in a better mood.
This is the best mood I'll ever be in. Will you get out already?
See you later.
Pete, why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you get a hold of Dr. David Mosler at the university?
You bet.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that this is one time where silence is golden.
Now, you're the county coroner, William Fowler.
That's correct.
Mr. Fowler, in your report, you fixed the time of Ed Harris's death between 10:30 and 11:30. Is that correct?
That's correct.
How can you be so precise?
Simple. Harris was known to be alive at 10:30 when Mr. Welsh left him. He was dead at 11:30 when Mr. Jones ran from his office.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examine, Mr. Petrocelli.
No, Your Honor.
That concludes the case for the state, Your Honor.
Mr. Petrocelli, is the defense ready to begin?
We are, Your Honor.
Officer, according to the statement you took that night and previous testimony, did anyone actually see Ed Harris alive at 10:30?
No one, except Mr. Welch. But a lot of people overheard Harris shouting at Welch.
I see. So they saw Welsh come out of Harris's office.
That's right. Harris was still shouting at him.
Which left Ed Harris alone, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you. No more questions.
You're excused, Officer Mason. Mr. Petrocelli?
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Your Honor, I'd like to enter into evidence a tape recording made by Miss Sandra Sims backstage at the Starlight Club that night with a sworn affidavit from Miss Sims identifying said tape.
Mr. Kaiser?
We've reviewed the tapes, Your Honor, and stipulate that they may be admitted.
These will be marked as defense exhibits A and B.
Thank you, Your Honor. I now call to the stand Dr. David Mosler. Dr. Mosler, beside teaching at San Remo State College, you're also an expert in what is called voice print. Is that true?
Yes, sir. I've been used by the San Remo police in a number of cases.
Would you explain voice prints and their use to the court, please?
Well, I'd be happy to. Now, this is a voice print. It's a visual record of a person's voice. Each person's voice has certain characteristics which recur constantly in their day-to-day speech patterns. Voice prints are as individual as fingerprints.
I'm going to play a tape recording of an argument between Shirley Peters and Ed Harris.
Listen, baby, I'd love to give you more, but we just ain't pulling the crowd.
What are you trying to pull, Ed? I know what's going down. I know all about you.
Now, you shut your mouth. You start making trouble for me, and you'll be collecting disability.
Yeah, well, one word for me, and you won't be here. If Kingsley knows what's happening here...
That's what you think, lady. You just try something.
I am warning you, Ed. Oh, there's my music. We will continue this later.
Doctor, did you make a voice print of the argument between Miss Peters and Mr. Harris?
I did.
I haven't. Thank you. Shirley Peters. And Ed Harris. And now the argument between Jubilee Jones and Ed Harris.
Hey, what's this?
What's what?
There's a lot of money missing from my check.
That's just the 10% charge.
What 10% charge is that? You ain't no agent.
Everybody that works here pays it.
Not me. I don't pay blood money to no one.
Well, it's either that or get out.
Bet I'll get out. As soon as I finish tonight, you can have my final check ready.
Maybe yes, maybe no.
I'm warning you, man, don't mess with my money. I've been around sharks like you before.
Don't you threaten me, you old bum.
Did you make voice prints of those two people?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Once again, Mr. Jones, and again, Mr. Harris. And now, finally, an argument between Frankie Welsh and Ed Harris.
Listen, Ed, I'll pay up, I promise. I just need a little bit more.
Not until I'm paid back in full, Frankie.
Please, give me a break.
Frankie, you're a second-rate comedian and a second-rate money spender and a first-class loser. Now get out of here. I don't want to see you back in here again.
I have the voice prints of that conversation. Frankie Welsh and Ed Harris. And now I'd like to play the second part of that argument between Frankie Welsh and Ed Harris.
I told you to get out. I don't have time for all your belly aching.
Right, Ed. Talk to you later, when you're in a better mood.
This is the best mood I'll ever be in. Will you get out already?
Yeah, see you later.
I have the voice prints of the second part of that argument, Doctor. Thank you. Your Honor, if you will note, both voice prints are identical, those of Frankie Welsh, who is not only a comedian, but apparently an excellent impressionist as well. If I may, Your Honor, I'd like to present another version of what might have happened the night of Ed Harris's murder.
Please, give me a break.
Welsh was waiting for Harris that night. He was in financial trouble, needed money again. And as usual, Harris was insulting. Only this time he went too far. Welsh then grabbed the bookend and hit Harris. He had enough presence of mind to wipe his prints and the blood off the murder weapon and replace it as he had found it. Welsh tried to leave, but there were too many people in the hallway who had heard the fight, so he closed the door. That's when Welsh hit on an ingenious plan. He decided to use his talent for mimicry to keep Harris alive.
I told you to get out. I don't have time for all your belly aching.
Sure, Ed. Talk to you later, when you're in a better mood.
This is the best mood I'll ever be in. Will you get out already?
Sure. See you later. He's a real tiger tonight, honey.
Frankie Welsh had what seemed to be the perfect alibi. He was on stage performing when Jubilee came running out, except for the fact that the voice prints already submitted prove that Frankie Welsh killed Ed Harris. Now, in light of that evidence, Your Honor, I respectfully request that the charges against my client, Jubilee Jones, be dismissed.
It is so ordered.
Right into my next gig, Bess and me figured maybe we ought to start taking a little time off.
Hey, that's great.
Promise you'll come and see us.
Oh, that would be real nice.
I want to thank you, too, Mr. Petrocelli.
Look, I think it's about time you called me Tony. And the pleasure's been all mine.
We owe the rest of our lives to you.
No, you don't owe me anything. We owe you for showing us how good life can be at any age.
It can be, Tony. It can be.
Be seeing you next time through.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
got it that time.
Yes, Lord.